Power can build civilizations or destroy them. Throughout history, there have been leaders so ruthless, so feared, that their names became legends of terror. These rulers didn't just seek power, they demanded absolute control. Betrayal, war, and unimaginable cruelty were their weapons. Who were history's most ruthless rulers, and how did their reigns shape the world we live in today? We begin with Genghis Khan, the Mongol warlord who built an empire so vast it covered 12 million square miles, more than any man before or after him. But his success came at a cost: 40 million lives. Entire cities were erased from existence. When the Mongols invaded Persia, they destroyed every living thing in their path. One historian wrote that so many people were killed, farmland turned to desert because no one was left to cultivate it. Yet despite his brutality, Genghis Khan introduced religious tolerance, trade routes, and law codes that still influence societies today. Was he a savage warlord or a genius strategist? That's for history to decide. If there was ever a ruler who enjoyed cruelty, it was Vlad the Impaler, the man who inspired Dracula. His favorite method of punishment? Impaling his enemies on giant wooden stakes, sometimes 20,000 at a time. When the Ottoman Empire invaded his lands, they found an entire field of rotting, impaled corpses. They were so horrified, they turned around and left. Vlad's rule was drenched in blood, but he's still seen as a national hero in Romania for defending his kingdom. Was he a monster or a protector? Maybe both. Few rulers lived up to their names like Ivan the Terrible. At first he was a reformer, modernizing Russia, but paranoia consumed him. He formed the Oprichnina, his personal death squad, who terrorized the nobility. During his reign, he massacred the entire city of Novgorod, believing its people were conspiring against him. Men, women, children, even babies were slaughtered. In a fit of rage, he even killed his own son, leaving Russia without an heir. His reign left Russia in chaos, paving the way for centuries of instability. Unlike the other rulers on this list, Leopold II of Belgium never fought battles himself, but his rule led to the deaths of 10 million people. He claimed to be civilizing the Congo. Instead, he turned it into his personal slave state. Villages that didn't produce enough rubber were burned. Hands were chopped off as punishment. Families were starved to death. The brutality was so extreme that even other European powers, who weren't known for kindness, condemned him. Leopold made a fortune, but his name is forever stained with blood. In the 1970s, Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge sought to create a communist utopia in Cambodia. Instead, they unleashed a nightmare. In just 4 years, 2 million people, 1/4 of Cambodia's population, were murdered. Anyone who was educated, wore glasses, or spoke another language was executed. Cities were emptied. Families were torn apart. People were forced into labor camps, starving to death, or beaten with farming tools to save bullets. By the time the Khmer Rouge fell, Cambodia was a graveyard. A ruler's ideology had turned into one of history's worst genocides. What do all these rulers have in common? Absolute power and the willingness to destroy anyone who stood in their way. But history has shown that tyranny never lasts. Empires collapse and new generations learn from the past. What do you think? Who was the most ruthless ruler in history? Let me know in the comments.